Botti biabi was a South Londoner of African descent in a tough Glasgow housing scheme. As a 12-year-old kid he had no idea what life had in store for him. And it's fair to say that the Kingsway estate wasn't exactly renowned for being awash with recreational pursuits. Apart from being adept in maths at school, Biabi's main talent was with the ball at his feet. "I don't want to brag, but I knew I was good," he tells Mail Sport with a wry smile. Botti biabi in action for Hamilton against Rangers Image SNS Group. He made fleeting appearances for various boys' club teams but lacked conviction. By his own admission, he was still too raw. And like for many in the city's more deprived areas, thoughts of actually making a career out of the game were a fanciful notion. But when he turned up for an AM Scotland coaching session with former player Andy McLaren one Friday night, he thrived. No pressure, free kit, a kickabout and a chance to meet some potential mates. Eventually, the Kingsway had their own team, and when they visited places like Pollock, Milton, Castleknock or Govan, the kid with an Ivory Coast background was their key player. Biabi was hooked. Eventually, Falkirk would snap him up, and before he knew it he was coming off the bench in a Scottish Cup final. Botti biabi intends to show people what he can do during his 4-month spell at Aki's Image Alan Harvey's group. After that, Premier League outfit Swansea City came calling and the teenager was having to pinch himself. Biabi is well aware of where he has come from. In fact, it's what drives him on. While some of those Kingsway pals have taken the wrong path in life, Biabi has managed to get to his career firmly on track. And he'll never take the opportunity for granted. Currently on loan at Hamilton Accies, the 21-year-old remembered fondly the Kingsway days when guys like McLaren helped him along the way. He said, "The Kingsway is a little estate in Scottstown. It's a rough area, but I was used to it as a kid and I enjoyed it." Botti biabi in action for Falkirk against Livingston Image SNS. "I was born in South London, but when I turned 12 we moved up to Glasgow. My parents just wanted something different, to get away from London. We had family up here, so it was an obvious choice. Those football nights with Andy and the coaches were great for me. They helped me settle in. I made friends with people, met boys from different areas. There was nothing else for us to do. We'd play in a league. One week it would be Kingsway v Pollock, the next we'd be up against Milton. Those games were a bit tasty, believe me. But they were good for me, it toughened me up." Biabi is fouled by Ross McCrory Image SNS Group. "Sometimes it got a bit heated. But the standard was decent. It was great that any kid from any neighborhood could come along and play. It helps get kids off the street. Andy was a massive influence on me because he came from the same background in Castleknock. He would speak to me about his past and what he'd learned. I could relate to him because of everything he'd gone through. In those areas, if you don't get involved in something like football, it's easy to take the wrong path. There are other temptations out there for young people, especially growing up in a place like Kingsway, which was tough. A couple of my own friends took the wrong road and it could end up anyway. You have to keep your head straight. At the start it was hard explaining to my mates that I had a chance in football. But eventually they saw the bigger picture. I had to realize the opportunity I had and they understood. The good friends understand what you're trying to do with your life." Biabi's big break came after appearing in a game for Clydebank, a club his pal had introduced to him to. Falkirk were already aware of him and decided to offer him a contract. Little did he know that he'd soon be at Hampden and having an impact on the 2015 Scottish Cup final. He said, "I had played for a few boys' clubs teams but it'd drop out after a while. I wasn't taking it seriously enough. Eventually, when Falkirk came in, it got more serious. I had Stevie Fulton and Guillaume Buzelin as my coaches. If you knuckled down, they would make you a better player. I could see myself that I was improving quickly." Botti biabi celebrates for Falkirk after scoring against Hearts Image SNS Group. "Incredibly, I came on in the final against Inverness with 20 minutes to go and felt I did well. I was so nervous that day but just kept telling myself it's only football, you've been playing it all your life." From where I'd come from, as a kid from the Kingsway, to be running on in front of 50,000 fans in that game, well, you never think you'll get that kind of opportunity. To be able to express yourself in front of that audience, it was a big chance. My family, friends and people from AM were all at Hampden that day to watch. Biabi did enough that day to entice Swansea City to make a bid, and before his loan switched to Hamilton he was a regular in their under-23 side. He's determined to be successful, not just for his own career but also to encourage clubs to give kids the chance he got. Even as a Falkirk player, he'd still turn up at the Kingsway with his pals on a Friday night for a kickabout, only to be told he had a bigger game the following day. Biabi battles against Dalcio Image SNS Group and he just hopes other youngsters like him get a similar opportunity. He said it'd be up there even if I was playing Rangers at Ibrox for Falkirk the next day. It was just a habit for me, so I'd go, but they wouldn't let me play. I'd say to them I won't get injured. But looking back, it was stupid. They told me that. But it shows how much I enjoyed that environment. Those people are crucial for Scottish football. I know kids who have grown up on council estates and they have a lot of quality. But they'll never get a chance to show it, and now they're doing something else. It's a shame, and it's why the work Andy does is important for the game here. There is plenty of kids with ability out there in rough areas. And boys in African and Asian communities can play, but they will never get a chance. I know plenty. Someone needs to open their eyes and realize where that talent is.